Thank you to be here. I'm Mitch. I'm a developer advocate in Mia Platform. You know Mia Platform, just for curiosity? Okay. At the end, it's a company that provides a tool to create platform engineering stuff. Today, we don't talk about Mia Platform, but we talk about platform engineering. My name is Michel, but everyone call me Mitch. Please call me Mitch. And I'm from Italy. It's my first time in New York, and I'm happy to be here. Okay, I started to code a lot of years ago. I'm involved in developer relation in the last 10 years. I organized the KCT Italy, of course in Italy. And I found there are communities. I'm a CNCF ambassador. I do a lot of stuff because I love the community. And one of the reasons that I come here is for the community. Okay, why this topic? It's important for me because, of course, it's part of my work, because I love to help others and reduce the cognitive load. It's very important in our field. And, of course, because a better developer experience means developer are more happy, and yeah, they can be more productive, and this is very important for all the company. Okay, I started to work in 2004, okay? Here, when I started to work, the technology was very, very different from today, because, let me say, I don't know here, but in Italy in 2004, there is the webmaster. It's a person that can create stuff on internet, and for become a webmaster, you need just to know one language, like PHP, and maybe a little bit of HTML. No JavaScript, no async stuff, no cloud. It was very, very simple. During the years, there is a lot of different stuff joining, like framework, front-end frameworks, clouds, and so on. And in this moment, the work of web developer are split in two. First one was front-end developer, second one was developer, back-end developer. And in the time, there is other roles join. This is my preferred date. It's 2014. It's the Kubernetes release. When the Kubernetes was provided to the community, the complexity grew a lot. But our ability to manage this complexity, yes, maybe can grow, but not at the same level. Okay, I love this quote because I love Kubernetes, but I also love this quote. Of course, if you don't understand it, Kubernetes don't have H inside the name. But the real problem is not Kubernetes. The real problem is cloud-native technologies, because we need to have scalability, we need to have and to manage a lot of data. We have a lot of expectation about user experience, UX, UI, security, and so on. In this list, I put also the automation. The automation is, of course, a system to try to decrease the complexity, but of course, add other complexity in another part of our pipeline. And when you look at the landscape, you can find a lot of projects to do the same stuff. Okay, I know not exactly the same, but for example, if you need an API gateway, you can find 20 different projects that can provide an API gateway for you. And of course, if you need just an API exposed outside your cluster, you need to understand what is the best solution, try it, a lot of study, and so on. And of course, this is a first reason that produces a lot of cognitive loads. Okay, there is three different types of cognitive loads. The first one was the intrinsic one. The intrinsic cognitive loads was if a task was hard, you need to create new stuff. Okay, you don't have any kind of solution. You need to understand the problem, try to find solution, and after that, solve the problem. The second one, it's a load useful for the developer because it's a cognitive load that add complexity, but this complexity help you to improve yourself, adding knowledge, skill, and in general knowledge. The last one is the external loads. This kind of cognitive load is not depending by us, but depending by tools, documentation. Maybe you need to use a new tool, but there is no documentation. And of course, it's not good for the developer. And of course, we can work on this one. The first two are at the end good. The last one, no. Just an example. How many of you are technical people? Please raise your hand. Okay, technical, like also CTO, C-level, please raise your hand. All? Okay? PM, PO, project manager, project owner. Okay, great. Just an example. A developer needs a new environment. Okay, he asks to a colleague, an ops colleague, and the colleague needs to create the resource, need to create configuration for the environment, like secret and so on. After that, he needs to create network setup. After that, security and so on. Okay. In a small company with, I don't know, 10 employees, you have a colleague near your desk, or you have a chat, and you can ask, can you create this environment for me because I need for, I don't know, do tests? And they can say yes. After that, after, I don't know, 1 hour, he provides to you credentials, access, permission to do stuff. But in the majority of the cases, when the company are big, this is not true. Because here, there is like a wall, and this wall is called Jira, Trello, Miro, I don't know, a lot of tools. And the ops guy is not free for you. And when you open a ticket, maybe you need to wait 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, and so on. Of course, this is the first problem, because in the meantime, the developer that need the environment can start to do stuff, but it's not the right path. The platform engineering is at the end a discipline focused to create self-service toolchain, services, and process. Okay, you already know platform engineering. Please raise your hand. Okay, some yes, some no. I go very fast on this part, but at the end, the idea is try to create a centralization of all the resources and make the automation to all the kind of tasks that you need. Make it simple to help people. All this stuff can produce efficiency in your company and can improve the quality, because if you don't need to wait 2 days for an environment, you can invest 2 days to create tests and to do stuff. But the last one, it's the most important one, is all the tools that you create need to be a self-service for someone. For example, in the previous example, for the developer. At the end, the platform engineering try to get the line and try to align the complexity with our ability to manage it. Okay, it's an example. It's an example from a platform about what I mean when I talk about platform engineering. For sure, we have a portal, like an interface to create stuff, an orchestrator that can orchestrate all these blocks. We have infrastructure, and on top of that we have DevOps platform. but we have also application composability, AI agent model, data platform, and so on. Another concept in the platform engineering was the circular economy of the software. If you work in a very big company, maybe you need to create some stuff a lot of time. In my life, I create, I don't know, 100 different type of login system, okay, for web applications. And of course, every time I need to restart from zero. Sometimes you can reuse stuff, but there is no standard on that. And of course, I get my time and I trash it. How can work this kind of pipeline? For example, a team can create stuff, after that can provide to the platform team the component. The platform team can manage, let me say, the generalization of the components, improve the documentation, and create a, let me say, plugin. And after that, they can put the plugin in a marketplace. After that, another team need, for example, the API plugin. They can use the plugin already provided from the team, from the first team, and maybe they need to add stuff on this kind of API. For example, a payment method. After that, they can create a payment method using the API and improving the plugin, and after that, provide the plugin to the platform team, and they can add new functionality or new plugin and so on. In this way, all the company know all the other software created from other teams. Of course, the reuse here, it's very, very important part, because you can reuse plugin and of course get different plugin, compose it and use it together. Okay, an example can be an invoice system. For invoice system, you need API, you need a payment gateway like Stripe, PayPal, I don't know. You need maybe an invoice system to create the invoice when people pay stuff in your platform. You can create 3 different plugins, like the gateway, like the payment, like the invoice. And when a team needs to have these 3 different steps, they can get the 3 plugins and use it together. When we talk about platform engineering, we need to talk also about metrics, because create a platform like the tool that we looked before require a lot of time and of course a lot of money, because if you work in a platform, you can work for customers or the project. And in the majority of the case, your manager asks to you, okay, it's great, but we don't have time, we don't have money. How you can demonstrate to your manager that the platform can be a good choice? There is a couple of different metrics. There is metrics for the user here, for the organization, and of course for the platform. About the user, of course, you can talk with your manager about developer feedback, active users in your platform, but also the retention, the environment provisioning time, and so on. About the company, the organization, you can talk about time to market, resource utilization, cost saving, and so on. Just to do an example on that, do you look the talk before about green software in the forum? Okay, no? They talk about a tool called KubeGreen. Okay, this tool at the end, it's a Kubernetes operator. With a platform, you can put by default this tool in any of your project. And of course, you can save a lot of money, also if a developer forget to add the tool. Because in your standard pipeline, you can add the configuration of, for example, KubeGreen. It's just an example. And of course, you have last the platform metrics related to, for example, the uptime, the code commit frequency, the code review time, and so on. If you want to use metrics, there is two different frameworks. The first one is the DORA metrics. Everyone know DORA metrics? Please raise your hand. Okay. At the end, I don't want to go deep on that, but at the end, it's DevOps research and assessment. It's a set of documents that you can find. I don't remember. Oh, at the end, there is the link, where you can find a lot of metrics related to, let me say, software delivery and ops. The second type of metrics, it's called SPACE. Who knows SPACE metrics? Please raise your hand. No one? Wow. Okay, at the end, the SPACE metrics try to measuring the satisfaction, the performance, about the communication, the efficiency, and at the end there is a lot of stuff related to, for example, the evaluation for volume of work completed, the activity to the team, the communication and collaboration between members of the team and to different teams and so on. Of course, we live in 2015. There is also AI, there is anything as a code. And when we put this kind of discussion inside a platform, we need to think about, for example, okay, use DORA and SPACE, but also have tool and process can reduce the friction. Of course, AI can help us. A lot of people say, okay, we don't need developer because now we have AI. I think it's not true, because of course the AI can help the company and the single people, but it's part of our world, but at the end it's not a replacement for people. And of course, the idea is, in any case, try to reduce cognitive load. Okay, for example, when we talk AI, we can have AI assistant DevX, like maybe in your company you have a lot of documentations. It's not too easy search the right document. Maybe you can have AI to ask the right page. Or maybe you can use AI for generate coding and to do debugging. You can use the AI for the conversational DevX. That means provide to AI data about your product, documentation and other information, and on that ask stuff. And of course, all the stuff is related to, let me say, the conversational DevX. About anything as a code, there is a lot of stuff. For example, you can create now infrastructure using code, you can create platform using code, also configuration, policy, and so on. Of course, putting together platform engineering and AI can be a good choice. And the answer about why is, in the platform engineering, you try to centralize all the knowledge of your company in a single platform. You have the data, you have the documentation, and all the stuff. And if you put the AI inside this, maybe you can have a global knowledge about your products, projects, and customers. Just an example. For example, you can create a system, a RAG system. You know what is RAG? Please raise your hand because it's hard. Okay, at the end, it's you have AI like GPT, Gemini, or this kind of tool. You can provide to this kind of tool a set of information, and after that, ask stuff on the information. For example, you can provide the documentation about your tool, like how install a CRUD service. And when you type how I can install a CRUD service, the RAG system provides to the AI, like Gemini or GPT, the page of the documentation where there is the word CRUD or CRUD service or CRUD plugin, and your prompt together. Of course, he can analyze all the prompt, get the information about the CRUD and your question, and after that he can produce a response for you. In a platform, for example, you can get all the information about the platform and provide it for RAG, and after that, a developer can ask to a system stuff about the platform can ask to a RAG, and that can have a response about the stuff and return to the developer. We have just 4 minutes. Before the last part, you have any question? No? Okay. To create platform initiative in your company, you need to adopt the right mindset. First of all, you need to understand why, okay? Because it's the first question, why you need to create a platform. Maybe you work in a small company, maybe you don't need it because you work just in a project, just in a plugin. Maybe sometimes it's not useful, and you need to understand if it's useful for you or not. The second stuff is what. When you start to create your own platform, of course, you can find a lot of different platform products around, okay? Also, my company sells a product. But if you want to build your own, you need to understand your priority. Sometimes can be help the developer, for example, the environment example. Sometimes you need to help the ops team, okay? And for this reason, you need to understand how you can create stuff. With what you can ask to your people in the company, to the developer, and say, okay, what is your biggest problem at this moment? Maybe the answer can be, I need to wait 1 week each time I need to create a new environment. Maybe for you it's a problem, and if you can define what is the problem, you can define also how to resolve the problem. In the case of the environment is try to reduce the time to create new environments. Of course, my idea is not to create new metrics, but use the metrics that already exist. For example, for the environment, if you, before the platform, you use a week for a new environment, and after the platform, you use a minute, this can be a good metric for your manager or for the decision maker in your company. Of course, each company is based on people, and the first goal of any initiative that involves developer, ops, and all the technical team need to be started with these people. You need to talk with them and understand the necessity and try to improve that. And after that, you can have your metrics like the development or the time to create a new environment, and you can measure it during the time. Okay, if you need a platform, the last suggestion can be, of course, try to invest effort to create self-service experience, try to align the technology with the business. I know if you are technical people, you think only about the technology, but also the business it's important because in the majority of the case, our salary is paid by the business, and in the majority of the case, our work help the business to sell more and to create more money for the company. Of course, you need to provide and share support to the change and to encourage the collaboration, and of course create a solution that the people can love. Okay, there is 2 results about the platform. The first one is the platform maturity model. Maybe someone know that. And the second one is, let me say, the proposal about platform engineering. You can find all this document in the tag app delivery on the CNCF. And that's it. Please, it's a feedback form. I'm joining here from Italy. It's a lot of travel, just 9 hours for come, jet lag, and Friday I will return. And of course, it's very important to me have your feedback because I can maybe join other times. If you have any question, please ask me now or later or tomorrow. I'm here.